Welcome everyone in physically here in Las Vegas and on Zoom. I'm Phil Bautista here. We've got Bryant Park B presenting the session on building your enterprise grade integrations using BMC Helix iPaas. So we did a real quick promo video, Pradeep and I did, to kind of give you a overview of what you're going to see. We posted it up on our site. So Pradeep and Gareth are going to be presenting and actually building some applications in iPaas, some integrations in iPaas. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Pradeep and Gareth to present. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Phil, for that introduction. My name is Pradeep Kumar. I am a product manager in BMC. I've been with BMC for about 7 years now. I work out of Santa Clara. I wanted to be there, but and Gareth both wanted to come in person to Vegas. Who doesn't want to go to Vegas? But Gareth got all the approval, but then the latest sort of twist happened on the virus, so we're not there. But I have a bit of a background in Remedy, Helix, and you know I built a few other products for BMC before, Smart IT, ITSM UI, change management, some of the capabilities, and then I built a multi-cloud broker, multi-cloud service management before. And so I'm so happy to be here. Let me just give it to Gareth for a quick introduction here, just so that everyone knows who you are. And Gareth, you want to speak about yourself?
Sure. My name's Gareth Christiane. I'm a principal solution engineer. I'm based out of South Africa, and I look after the Africa region as well as Middle East, and on occasion do events for the Americas and such. Really excited to be here with you guys and looking forward to the session. Thanks.
Thank you, Gareth. So we're just going to jump into it, and we may have a bit of an extra time after the end of our presentation. So we'll be happy to take live questions. So folks in the room, if you can manage the Q&A, we'll be happy to take care of that. And as Gareth is presenting, if you still have questions, you can ask us questions through Zoom chat, or I'll be. Today, what is Helix iPaas? Right, this is new. This is brand new. This wasn't there roughly last year. So, or only about 16 to 18 months since we have started to offer it. So we're going to spend a bit of a time while we're talking, what is iPaas and why? Why is BMC investing into it? The second is we're going to have Gareth Gareth present to us and build on a use case, an enterprise grade use case using Helix iPaas right here in the 20 to 25 minutes time frame. He's going to also do another demonstration for Helix multi-cloud broker, which is going to show ITSM to Zira, Atlassian's Zira software integration use case. And then he's going to cover a customer success story. There are many customers we have today using the solution. It may be one of the fastest uptake within BMC. If you think about it, looking at our history, we're already into 40 plus customers who have this solution today. So with that, let's jump into an overview. What is the problem statement for Helix iPaas, right? So I think looking back, if you think about enterprise, the kind of enterprises that we support, right, our target customers, it's a complex environment, right? You think about many different providers in terms of technologies, infrastructure. A lot of different sort of waves of technologies have resulted into that legacy in our environment. There are industry trends, right? The cloud, SaaS, IoT, and there's complexities of these deployment models, right? On-prem, or private containers, or SaaS, of course. And then there are many different set of solutions and DevOps. Many of these factors are continuously making our environment in which we operate complex, right? And our job as an IT a service provider, a service management stakeholders within the enterprise is to put these things together, right? That's the more better job we do in designing and orchestrating a seamless experience, the better service that we can provide to our end customers, right? So that's really the challenge. And obviously one of the key part here is how do we put these things together? That is the integrations of these services that we acquire from different vendors, from different systems, so we have had a classic approach, in terms of many different point-to-point integrations, right? And this is back-end oriented. This is you are holding a team of developers. You do have, it's hard to maintain, right? They break because these integrations are not fully compatible with future version upgrades. So that's the classic approach. But if you if you look at the environment of the kind of enterprises we support, this just results in too many point-to-point combinations, right, of integrations. It's not easy to maintain. It's not best in class, right? It's homegrown kind of. It's like choose the best tool for that job. So then you have too many different tools being used in building out this set of integrations. That's the classic approach on integrations. I'm sure many of you are familiar with this term called IPaaS, integration platform as a service, right? And in this world, this is specifically has gotten very relevant with the advent of SaaS in the enterprise, right? So it's a software as a service. It's a platform designed from the ground up to manage your integrations, right? And in this case, you talk through the standard interfaces, right? So you talk through the applications, so your version upgrades are fully supported and they don't break your integrations, right? And it provides a holistic experience in terms of a design studio. You have visibility to what all integrations do you have, how secure they are, what are the transactions that are passing through your enterprise, right? If you want to pause some certain thing, you can. If you want to reuse, right? So why have every single use case, for example, incident sync? You can have a single template and you can reuse parts of it or all of it, right? So this is a modern approach for integrations. That's what IPaaS brings to it. This is becoming a de facto standard for enterprise-wide integrations. And that's why BMC has invested and offered BMC Helix iPaas. Really, you're using this for many other enterprise integrations outside of service management, but that's what we're bringing to the world of service management via BMC Helix iPaas. Yeah. So what is BMC Helix iPaas? It is a rapid, no-code integrations and API management platform available from BMC. It offers a rich set of standard connectors. So if you think about, all these applications that you need to integrate with, you have a rich set of connectors available to you, and a lot of pre-built integration content available to you from BMC. So, get the benefit of the iPaaS for BMC ecosystem, if you will, and enabling that for BMC customer base. So if you think of ITSM integrations, ITOM integration, everything in Helix, if you want to integrate that to third-party world, you have these rich set of options available through BMC Helix iPaaS. So how we're making it happen is we have partnered up with a couple of the leading iPaas vendors. So the biggest relationship we have is a company called Jitterbit, and Jitterbit. So what we have an OEM relationship with Jitterbit. We're taking their iPaas platform. By the way, it's a Gartner MQ leader platform among the top few vendors in the space. They are not the topmost vendor known for the B2B integration critical capability from Gartner, and they have thousands of customers, roughly 15 plus years of experience in building and running a SaaS enterprise iPaas platform. So it's a very mature, robust technology that we're offering. Yeah. And what do we get BMC in partnering with Jitterbit, right? So we get a rich marketplace of connectors. They have built quite a few application-specific connectors, and that's their main focus. So one of the challenge that we ran into in BMC is that when we had something of a homegrown initiative in this area, we could not invest given the need for external connectors. Think about it. There are a new set of applications coming every day. They come, so you have new applications emerging in supply chain management, in order management, in customer services, in CRM systems, HCM systems. It's just the plethora of connectors that you need really a focused company whose business it is to build more and more and more, covering the entire gamut of enterprise, right? So that's what we get with Jitterbit, with a super rich platform and with a rich set of connecting options to the enterprise, the entire enterprise. And what BMC is doing, so we're not resting there that we just have a partnership. We have an in-house team that is enriching that platform through our own investment. So we want to make sure that our customers, BMC customers, have integration options in terms of the connectors and in terms of the pre-built integrations available to you with the platform. So our set of developers, my team, is building a lot of this content for BMC products, for third-party products, and then putting some of this together as an out-of-the-box pre-built integration solution. So that's what BMC is doing. So if you go through BMC Helix iPaas documentation, you will see a rich library of content that's available from BMC. And then even if you go to Jitterbit Marketplace, you will see all the different templates. So if that we have shipped, and then Jitterbit has shipped some for BMC. So you have a lot of rich content available to you as a pre-built integration solutions. So again, as I mentioned, this is all about a standard way of communicating with these applications so that you have an integration, you have a template that continues to work, that is easy to modify, easy to enhance. So these are, think about this as a UI where you can log in, you view your connectors, you sort of provide your credentials, and you're ready to talk to that application. And then you can put the two connectors together as a solution for a specific use case. So in terms of the connectivity options, this is just a subset of connectors that I'm showing. The intent here is to showcase that for the most of these large known things in the enterprise, you already have a dedicated connector which knows how to speak, how to communicate with that application, and then in that published, standard, supported manner, the way that application owner company, the technical specs intended for. So that's one part. The second part is the platform also offers generic connectors. So you have an HTTP connector, a REST connector, a SOAP connector, email, file share, database connector. These allow you to build any integration day one, even if you don't have a dedicated connector for that application, right? So your options are not limited. This is super sort of, you think of any integration challenge that you have today, you can meet with that today using this platform. In addition to the connectors, you also have API management capabilities in the platform. What that is that if there are integration workflows that you build in the Helix iPaas platform, you can expose that as a REST API, a standard-based REST public API that you can call from third-party systems. So you not only it enables reuse, it basically extend your capabilities of your applications, where iPaas is talking to your application in a standard manner, but suppose your application does not have REST API capability, then through iPaas, you enable REST to the entire ecosystem. So here are some of the examples. We have a lot of these templates that my team has shipped in last 18 months. It's an ever-growing set of templates. So we did a monthly release in last 18 months, and you continuously have been kept on adding newer and newer templates. And we're working with a lot of our customers to make it happen. But if you see, this is just some of the examples. For example, digital workplace request to Jira issue, right? If you want to get that flow out of the box, you have this template, a JSON file that you can import in your Helix iPaas environment, configure for your two endpoints, right? Jira, what are your credentials? Configure for digital workplace, and you're good to go with that integration. Salesforce to ITSM people record sync. That's out of the box. Again, a template, bring it into your environment, run it. That's it. Workday integration, Coupa for digital workplace, ITSM to Slack, ITSM to Teams. By the way, that's the use case Gareth is going to build here. So we will see how can you publish an ITSM incident to MS Teams. Event integrations from event Splunk to BHAM, Outlook, many more. I mean, just a tremendous set of ever-growing list that's available from BMC. Finally, I'm almost ready to hand it over to Gareth. I want to make sure you're aware of this change. So we had an offering called Multi-Cloud Service Management, which was a ITSM Ticket Brokering solution, which was using an underlying technology integration service. We have rewritten that using Helix iPaas as an underlying technology. So now it's a super robust underlying integration technology, but you get many of these use cases on the right side. Everything that you get, you see is available out of the box. So I'll give you a couple of examples here. So if you have a case brokering between AWS support and Helix ITSM incident, you have a template out of the box with multi-cloud broker with that rich UI integration where you can view AWS case details on ITSM incident UI or Smart IT. Similarly, if you have a case exchange with Salesforce, you have a template available for you. Azure DevOps for some of the DevOps use cases, Azure Monitor. So if you are monitoring your Azure stack with your, and you want to create an incident in ITSM, you have an out-of-the-box capability. Jira software, of course, this is highly in demand for incident change, problem, work order, known error records in ITSM, and issue record in Jira. Jira service management, you have a case management, case exchange or sync our capability. QRadar is a SIM tool, right? Security incident management. So you can automatically create a security incident in Helix ITSM with that integration. Case exchange with ServiceNow. App Dynamics, we have added a new use case recently. X Matters, we have added one. Splunk. And by the way, if you have custom applications, you can use this to extend any third-party integration use cases. So this is an example, if you have seen before, for Jira integration, where in Smart IT, if you are using multi-cloud broker, you get this pre-built UI integration where you can view Jira ticket information out of the box on Smart IT UI. So we have a dedicated region available to you where you have this information. Also, we have designed this experience for the users, the personas to work, to complete their work. It's not about a backend data integration. It's more about thinking about the change coordinator. How do they need to collaborate with the developers in Jira, and how to enable that seamlessly in the tool. So if you have a comment that you want to send to the developer, you can do that. You want to keep status sync between Jira ticket and ITSM ticket, that's provided out of the box. So this is my final slide, handing it over to Gareth. Before that, quick summary. It's a Gartner MQ leader technology, robust, enterprise grade. It's tailored with BMC's investment. It is tailored for our domain with a lot of rich options for all of the integrations that our customers ask, supporting a lot of endpoints. We have generic connectors beyond the endpoints, right? Generic technology-based connectors. It's highly reusable platforms, so you don't have to build every separate single integrations from scratch. Complete integration platform designed for the entire life cycle of integrations, design, deploy, monitor, and of course, BMC exclusive connectors, BMC exclusive pre-built integrations, partners building on the platform, offering a holistic, rich set of out-of-the-box pre-built integration solutions. With that, let me hand it over to Gareth for a hands-on demonstration. Gareth?
Thank you very much, Pradeep. Let me quickly share my screen. That one. Share.
So Pradeep, you may have to stop sharing to allow Gareth to share.
Yes, thank you.
Certainly.
Believe it or not, I've rebuilt my laptop, and because I'm just the first time using Zoom, it's asking me to quit and rejoin to be able to share my screen. Apologies. I will be back with you in 2 seconds. Sorry about this.
No worries.
It just means Pradeep has to do a song and dance.
Yeah, Pradeep, so you want to give us any more information, or are there any questions? Let me ask, since we've got 10 participants here in Zoom, is there anyone with questions here?
Exactly. Yeah. Any questions? I can definitely cover more things while we're waiting, if there are no questions. So really, I think this is a super exciting technology, as you will see with Gareth's example. Within 20 minutes, you can build, publishing an ITSM incident to MS Teams. How is that possible? 20 minutes. So because you have a standard ITSM connector in the platform, you have a standard MS Teams connector on the platform, he's just going to put it together. Obviously, there's going to be some mapping. That's what easy it is now to build these integrations. And by the way, what the templates that we are shipping, those templates are ready to go. I mean, if you get a pre-built JSON file, all you do is import, and then you kind of configure through your credentials, and you're ready to go. You have a solution that you basically got it from BMC. So that's the kind of technology, super exciting, robust, with the API management and iPaas together in a single platform. The integration problem is really easy. So Gareth, maybe we can see your screen.
Yeah, he's back with us, and now he's sharing his screen. Thank you, Gareth. Thank you, Pradeep.
Gareth?
If I take myself off mute, it'll help. Apologies for that. So thank you very much, Pradeep. As Pradeep mentioned, what we're going to be looking at to start off with is building out a integration between Helix ITSM and Microsoft Teams. So we've often had requests where, from a support perspective, people want those particular incident messages being streamed back off into different support groups. And what we're going to do now is have a look at how very quickly and efficiently we can build that out in a matter of minutes using the BMC Helix iPaas solution. So what I've done is I've logged on to BMC Helix iPaas, and I'm just going to give you a bit of context of what we're seeing on the screen here. So to start off with, we've got the Cloud Studio portion of the technology, which allows us to design the workflows that integrate the various different applications that you have running in your environment. The API Manager allows us to create and publish and manage those various APIs really quickly and efficiently. The Marketplace is a pre-built collection of various different integration templates that you can utilize within your projects. What's really nice about some of those integration templates is it can be used as a start point to get rapid value back out of the platform to get integrations up and going. And you can kind of extend that there to achieve whatever the business demand is really easily and efficiently. And then lastly, we have the management console, which allows us to manage and monitor the various different integrations that you have running at your organization. So we're going to start off by going into Cloud Studio. I'm going to import a base project. Now, what's really nice about that there is that you could have a defined library of these various different integration start points. So instead of having to kind of build up these things from the ground up and set up your various different scripting elements, the different project variables and all those good things, we can get a really quick, fast start to building out those integrations. Instead of going into these heavy development cycles, you really can now get this up and going in a very short amount of time. So I'm going to start off by importing that particular JSON file. So here's my ITSM webhook JSON file. Let's go ahead and grab that. Okay, I'm going to specify my environment, and we'll go ahead and import that. So right off the bat, we've got the building blocks as I mentioned, and what we're going to do is start extending that there so that we're actually integrating that initial logging into ITSM, creating the webhook, and then ultimately building it out to transfer that information out of the incident that we created into that Microsoft Teams channel. But before I get going, I just want to give you a bit of context to what we're seeing on the screen here. So this is the workflow that I've actually imported now. So you can see this is enabling the integration, and I've got two separate operations here. The first step is to log into ITSM, and then ultimately that next operation then creates that ITSM webhook. On the left-hand side of the screen, we've got our workflows area here where you can actually very easily drive between the various different operations and the individual elements of it. Now, this is quite a simple integration that we're going to build out quite quickly. But as you do more complex integrations, this type of ease of navigation through the different elements that build out that integration really makes it a much better experience for engineers when they're building out these integrations and want to view particular aspects of it. We then have our components piece over here where you'll note that certain elements were drawn in as part of that import that we just did. So aspects around different operations, the various different scripts that I've imported, different project variables, global variables, etc. So instead of now having to start and build all of those different aspects from scratch, it's really easy. If I now want to introduce one of the scripts that I have in my library there, I'm just simply dragging it out of the different components that we imported and bring it into the various different operations or workflows. On the right-hand side, as Pradeep mentioned, we've got a range of different connectors that get bundled with the solution. I mean, everything from App Dynamics, Azure, all the BMC Helix ITSM or BMC Helix connectors rather, Dynatrace. I mean, the list is quite exhaustive. And then beyond that, if there is not a connector that's bundled right now, you have all the standard integration methods that facilitate any integration you can imagine, whether it's HTTP connections, you want to do file shares, FTPs, storage related integrations. I mean, there is no reason really why you are limited in the integrations that you can achieve. So with that being said, what we're going to do now is we're going to begin building out the next logical pieces. So we have our enable integration workflow component. Our next piece is now going to introduce the steps that draw that information out of the incident that we're going to create and ultimately transfer it into our Microsoft Teams channel. So my first step is I need to create an additional variable. Create master script, save that. Next up, we want to actually configure our Microsoft Teams connector. So again, I'm going to quickly search for that. Now, what we're seeing here on the screen is I'm actually configuring that connector to talk into a particular Microsoft Teams environment. But when we did our initial import, I had all of those variables pre-configured. So instead of having to now go through and configure the tenant ID, client secret, the guys are just simply going to go into that variable list and match it up to the variables that we've already pre-configured. So my tenant ID, client ID, and so on. Username, and lastly, the password. Let's go ahead and test that connection. Tenant ID, client ID. Sorry, I made a mistake there. Client secret. That's better. Okay, let's go ahead and test that again. Fantastic. So we've got a successful connection. So I'll go ahead and save that change. So now we have the building blocks to introduce our next step of the workflow. I'm going to quickly give this a name. Okay. Next, we're going to take across our API request function. I'm just going to drag that onto the canvas here. And again, quickly label this. So this is our integration API load. Next, what we want to do is use our master script write variable. Again, just dragging that onto the canvas. Now, I mentioned earlier on that we're going to reutilize some of the components that we drew in as part of that import. So I've got my parsing webhook payload already ready here for me. I'm going to quickly drag that into this operation. Let's have a quick look at that particular script. So in essence, all the script is doing is creating various different variables that eventually get passed into this Teams message that we're going to then pass into that Microsoft Teams channel. So I've got my string over here, ITSM incident created with the following details and the various different variables that we're capturing. You'll notice that one of the particular elements over here is commented out. We're going to come back and uncomment that when we want to link the different operations. So we'll be back here in a minute. So our next piece is we now want to take our Microsoft Teams piece that we connected and drag across the send message into a new operation. I'm going to quickly label that there for us. Great. Now we can go in and configure that particular connector to point it at the right Microsoft Teams channel. So I'm going to do a search here. So there's my Tiger Team channel. I'm going to click next. Now it's going to return the results of that particular Teams channel. So over here, we've got our demo 2 channel that I want to have that message sent through to. I'll click next. Just takes a moment. It's busy retrieving the actual schemas across those 2 different elements. So we'll come back in a second. There we go. So we've got our data schemas, the request and response schemas. So that's all good for us now. I'll click finished. But now what we're interested in is we want to now link these two different operations. So I'm going to go back into our parsing webhook script and just remove this piece. As you can see, it's linking that operation to that post Teams channel that we just created. I'll go ahead and close that. And you'll see that it's now linked these two different operations. But now I want to only take a part of one of those variables, that Teams message, to pass into that channel. So we're going to go ahead and create a data transformation. And what you could do over here is if you wanted to transform the different data elements, this part of the technology makes this really easy. You have automatic mapping if that's the requirement. You could do some really powerful things within this portion of the technology. But for now, we're just interested in adjusting where this particular message string is going to go. So I'm going to add a script. Now, within the source objects area here, you'll notice that I've got various different elements, so different functions. So if I'm doing development and I want to drag across different aspects, I'm simply just dragging that back into the scripting area instead of having to write it out all from scratch. So it makes it really quick and easy. I've got various different plugins available. Operations, messages, whatever you might need. But for now, all we're interested in is one of the global variables that we imported, the Teams message. So I'm going to simply drag that between these two tags. My script is still valid, so that's all good for us. And I can close that down. Now, before I move on, I want to show you some of the components that we actually imported early on. So here's some of the project variables that were part of that initial import. So you'll see I have pre-configured elements over here. As I said, you could have this blank, or you could have it as a building block for various different other integrations. We're going to be adjusting the iPaas API URL because we're going to create that from scratch, and we're going to repoint this at a different ITSM environment. So what I need to do is quickly deploy what we've done so far so that when I create the API, it's able to reference this particular project. So I've got a successful deployment. Fantastic. So now we're going to move back into our API manager and create the API for this particular project. So new API. My environment again, version. Great, click next. Now, in this next piece, we can actually assign the operation to this API. So I need to now search for that particular project that we built out. So this is the project that we were working on. You can see I've done a couple tests today for the demo, but this is the one we're interested in. The operation that I'm interested in we're interfacing with is the integration API flow controller. The method is post, and the response type is final target. And now I'm going to assign that operation. So it's just giving you a bit of a summary of what we've actually dealt with over there. You can go ahead and click next. Now, for the purposes of the demo, we're not going to go in and associate different security profiles, but you can kind of extend and lock this down as you see fit, but we're not going to go into that right now. I'll go ahead and click next. So this is just a summary and confirmation of what we've built out there from an API perspective. I can go ahead and save and publish that. And there we go, all up and done in a matter of minutes. I can copy that new API URL. And we're now going to go back into Cloud Studio to start making adjustments to our project. Okay, there's the project we were working on. I want to go back into our project variables and start adjusting that there. So we're going to take this guy out, pop in the new one. I also need to adjust the ITSM points. So let me quickly copy across that detail. Okay, that there, it's not Alan, it's Seth. And there we are, all done and dusted, ITSM endpoint and API. Okay, great. So what we now need to do is deploy those changes again to make sure that that's all been taken in. I'll go ahead and deploy it. And you'll note that's now come back to me and said, well, you're busy adjusting those particular things. That was what was deployed. These are the updated values. So there's my iPaas API URL, the endpoint, as well as the username that we're adjusting. I can go ahead and click deploy. Great. Now, as a final check before we see the results of the integration that we've done, one last check here quickly is that we want to play through this and see that we get a success result. Great, so we've got a success and then success with info, so that's all sorted out. So within a matter of minutes, we were able to build out a integration between those two different platforms. What we're going to do now is log into Smart IT and have a look at this in action. So I've got my Smart IT client open. I'm going to go ahead and create a new incident. ITSM to MS Teams, date here, and now, part of what we created and configured in part of that workflow was setting different triggers for the webhook to actually instantiate. And we set that there, that the impact needs to be set to extensive and widespread, and the urgency needs to be set to critical. But you could have that there triggering against anything. Maybe it's a particular operation category or product category, maybe a type of service or CI that triggers this integration. It's really up to whatever the business requires. We're going to go ahead and save that ticket. I quickly need to log into MS Teams. My MS Teams thing seems to have timed out, so bear with me for 2 seconds. Okay, and there we go. Great. Fantastic. So what we have here is my Microsoft Teams environment, and you can see my Tiger team over here. And the channel that we put it into was demo 2. And there you go. I've got my ITSM incident created with the following details and the description that we had against that ticket. So as I mentioned, within a matter of minutes, using the Helix iPaas solution and the templatized approach to get things up and going really quickly and efficiently, we can see results and always extend and introduce other business logic into it. But I think as what you saw there, it was a very quick and efficient manner in what we were able to deliver that integration. Okay, so that was that one they dealt with. What we're going to do, a quick look at one of the other examples using the multi-cloud broker powered by Helix iPaas. So I'm going to go into one of the other templates and just give you a quick view of what that template looks like. Now, these are shipped with the solution. You can buy these template bundles that, again, get your integration requirements up and going really quickly and efficiently. I'm not going to spend too much time. I'm conscious of the clock running down here, but I'll give you a view of what that template looks like. So these are one of the templates that we provide. And you can see this is a lot more extensive. Our engineers with Jitterbit have built out a lot of more intelligence and error handling and all those good things. And you'll see that we've got various different operations and workflows that are triggering to facilitate this particular integrations. So yeah, there's various different steps. But what's nice about it, this is all shipped with you, or for you rather, in that template. In essence, all you're doing is going into your project variables and adjusting the specific details for your environment, and then you're up and running. So instead of having to go through that entire development cycle, we provide you with those quick, fast building blocks to facilitating these various different integrations. So I'm going to go back into Smart IT. We're going to go ahead and create a new incident. Okay, we're going to use Alan again here. Okay, ITSM to Jira, December, let's this from the user group. Now, again, within Multi-Cloud Broker, you are able to set various different triggers. You can introduce different logic. But for the purposes of this integration, what we've done is we've used the product categorization to trigger this particular integration. We're going to search for software. And we'll do software application third party. I'm going to go ahead and save that ticket. Screen's getting in my way. So the ticket's been saved. I've already opened up my Jira environment over here. I just want to quickly refresh it so you can see I've been running various different tests here across various elements, but we should see our new ticket coming in now. And as you can see, we've got our ITSM to Jira for today for the Las Vegas Remedy user group. So within minutes, we were literally able to repurpose or build out a Microsoft Teams integration, as well as repurpose some of the templates that we ship with the Helix iPaas platform. So really nice and easy. Pradeep, are you going to pop back up the screen for the story for us, please?
Yes, Gareth, if you stop sharing, just can we go to the Smart IT and showcase, if you don't mind? Sorry, maybe.
Sure. Do you want me to do something else?
Yeah, no, the multi-cloud broker approach, if we can showcase that, you can see the zero ticket information on Smart IT. If you want to go there quickly on that incident.
Yes, of course. Sorry, apologies. Busy right.
No, it is great. Yeah.
We actually have a question in the room. We have a question in the room here in Las Vegas for you, for your team.
Okay, actually two questions. You're on there, Gareth, and it says Smart IT. Is that actually still using the progressive web apps view of incidents as opposed to the older Smart IT? And then the other question is, and this may be for Pradeep, I don't know, the new Helix on-prem 2103, is this going to be included and usable from the on-prem?
Yeah. So yes, the first part is I still call it Smart IT. It's progressive web. It's the whatever is the latest Smart IT, ITSM UI. Okay, Helix UI or ITSM UI or Smart IT. So it's progressive web first off. The second question, this is available from quite a few. Helix iPaas is available for prior ITSM version as well. So you can work up until 2002 or 1805. So the multi-cloud broker piece is available since 2102 onwards. So 2103, yes, it is available and applicable. Yeah.
And that's available to on-prem. Is that correct?
Yes, on-prem. Yeah, you can hook up to on-prem. Yes.
Thank you. Thanks for answering the questions.
Yeah. So in here, I think Gareth is showing the screen. If you can see you can see the zero ticket information on your progressive web incident UI, if you will. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I was busy just trying to get back to sharing the screen there. So when we actually initiated that integration, as you saw, we had the information coming back into Jira. But when I refreshed the screen, it's actually come back and said that the business rules has created that particular ticket. If we go into that additional drop down, this is something that the multi-cloud broker facilitates really nicely. It gives that additional context to the ticket. And that's a similar experience with change management problem. You really do get all of that additional info. If I want to now do any additional updates, so I'm going to say here, ITSM to Jira. This is test 2 because I already did it while I thought my video was sharing. I then can specify whether it's public or whether I want to share that back into Jira. I can simply post that piece. If I go back into Jira, so I did it twice, we should have 2 updates there. Yeah, there. So there's my initial one whilst I didn't have my screen shared. And there's the second one. If I want to also do attachments, so if I want to send something back, I can attach, I'll pop in the JSON file back through to ITSM quickly for us. So bidirectional updates, Jira Go ahead and save that. If I now go back into ITSM and simply refresh, we should have that in a second.
Yeah.
And there we go. I've got my ITSM JSON webhook. If I click on that there, does it download into, yeah, there we go. There's my downloaded file already. So you can have those bi-directional updates. You can specify who you'd like that type of
I'm sorry.
information to go
I'm
through.
sorry. I think maybe there may be another session in the room, so we're a little bit out of time. Should we just go back to the slide? So
Sure thing. Sure.
if you stop sharing, let me. You have the customer story.
Yeah, and there's actually a question from Jorge Martinez. He asked, is there an out-of-the-box connector or template from one Remedy environment to another?
Yeah, so that's very easy to put it together because it's same connector, same set of attributes. So yeah, it's very easy to put it together. You have an ITSM connector that works all the way through 9104. So yeah, it's there. The capability is there. Let me say it this way: out of the box, we haven't yet put it together, but anyone can. It's a matter of minutes or hours.
Thank you. Thanks for answering the question. And yeah, we probably need to wrap up here in a couple of minutes, but our next presenter is not showing up. So I'll let you guys go ahead and continue.
Okay. Pradeep, are we going to go through the customer story?
Yeah, we'll go. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so as I said, we've had some really fantastic experience here within South Africa. When we introduced Helix iPaas, we spoke a lot to one of the largest service providers in South Africa, or actually the largest service provider in South Africa, Business Connection. Now, they had an existing integration platform that they used to manage a range of different integrations, whether it was ticket brokering or event information, assets info being drawn in from various different third-party solutions. But the challenge around that there was it was very point-based solutions. It was very complicated. It took a lot of time to get the integrations up and going. And ultimately, one of the big frustrations for BCX is there was a lack of visibility onto how those integrations were tailored. So that particular vendor didn't share that information. It was almost black box. So when we came through and spoke to them about what Helix iPaas could deliver, providing that world-class integration framework with all the great rich templates that facilitate those different types of integrations, I mean, they have right now 500 unique clients running off our AWS Helix instance, and they needed a simple way to get those different integrations standardized and built rather quickly. So why BMC? It was really about providing that extensive list of recipes and templates, the extensive library of connectors that come bundled with Helix iPaas. And the expected outcomes from them was really about reducing the integration costs and the time to market. They wanted to be able to address those integration requirements quickly and efficiently. So we continue to invest in assisting BCX in achieving those different integration requirements, and we continue to extend their capability in the market with that particular portion of the technology. So it was a great story, and we have many more of those coming out each and every day around how people are using Helix iPaas to drive the efficiency and power of a world-class integration solution. Fantastic. That's all from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you both. Thank you, Gareth. Thank you, Pradeep. And yes, our next speaker is here, and we need to go ahead and close this room. By the way, if you have any questions, please feel to reach out. Please reach out to us, and we'll be happy to provide the answers to you. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you both for presenting, and I appreciate your patience with us.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right, 60 seconds.